Hello, everyone. Welcome to the undergraduate webinar series, an interactive online platform connecting high school students to the Ashoka community. Thank you for joining us today for the webinar on undergraduate admissions. I am Vrinda Tandon, and I work with the Office of Outreach at Ashoka University. Joining me today are Jayati Bhatia, Assistant Director, Office of Financial Aid, and Tejasvi Anand, Assistant Manager, Office of Financial Aid. Together, we will be addressing some of your queries on fee waivers and science scholarships available to students at Ashoka University. Before we get started, I would like to inform our audience that round 1 admissions to Ashoka's undergraduate program are now open. The deadline for round 1 is 22nd November 2023. You do not have to wait for the 12th board marks or COET to apply. You can get a confirmed offer of admission and financial aid even before your final board results are announced. Now, without further ado, let's get started. I would request our audiences to kindly type any questions they might have in the Q&A box provided on their Zoom screen. We will address them towards the end of the session. Let's get started. So, Jyoti, Tejasvi, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Vrinda. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the webinar. Uh, I'd like to begin with asking some questions to you, Jayati.
Yeah.
So my first question to you is, what do we exactly mean by the need-based financial aid, and what's the philosophy behind this?
Okay. Thank you, Tejasvi, for that question. Thank you, Vrinda, for the introduction. Hello and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this webinar today. Now, talking about the philosophy behind need-based financial aid at Ashoka University. Well, when we started this institute and the idea, which was almost 12 years ago, it was supposed to be the largest collective philanthropy in education in India. About 150 donors have come in together in the last 11 or 12 years to pool in their personal resources. And all of them have been aligned to a single mission and vision, which is that quality education should be accessible to all, and it should not be restricted on an individual's ability to pay. So effectively, what it is trying to do is it is trying to create a level playing field for anyone and everyone who wants to study at Ashoka. What we believe is that when a student gets selected to study at Ashoka, they should all have an equal chance to succeed academically at Ashoka because they have already been through a very rigorous and holistic admissions process. However, we do acknowledge, given our mission, that financially everyone may not be at the same level. They may not be able to afford the fees either in part or in full. And therefore, we have this program which is based on your ability to pay rather than your academic standing. So it really tries to create that level playing field for students so that once they get selected, they get an equal chance to study at Ashoka and their ability to pay does not become a hindrance in joining Ashoka.
Wow, this was so helpful. So my second question to you is what has been the impact of this need-based program over the years since we started the university?
Okay, so talking about the impact of this need-based program, well, it has been quite huge. And if I add up all the numbers and look at what we have been doing since the beginning, then almost 4,500 and plus students have been benefited from this program. They have either paid only a part of the fee or did not pay any amount of fee. And of the resources that have been pulled in together, almost 511 crore rupees have went into the funding of education for these students. Well, this is an amount which has been unheard of in our country, going only towards need-based financial aid. So therefore, if we look at any batch and any set of students who are currently studying at Ashoka, across all the programs, nearly 50% of them are on some form of aid.
That was huge. So, on some form of aid, what does that really mean?
Okay, so which essentially means that if a student qualifies for financial aid, he or she can get a waiver of anywhere between 25% on tuition fee to a full waiver on all the costs, which includes your tuition, residence, and meals. So this typically means that you can get a waiver of anything between 2 lakhs to almost 11 lakhs per annum of your fees. Therefore, financial aid is not a single or a binary yes or a no that you will get aid or you will not get aid. It is actually a gradient or a range. And if you qualify, you can get anywhere between a 25% waiver on the tuition fee to a full waiver on all your costs. And on an average, we have seen that 60% of students who qualify for financial aid, they nearly get around 4 to 5 lakhs waiver on their tuition fee per annum.
Right. So is there any eligibility to apply or anyone can apply?
Well, anybody can apply for financial aid. There is absolutely no limitation, but there is only one logistical step, which is that you can only apply for financial aid when you have received a firm offer of admission. So once you get a firm offer of admission, a link will open and it will ask you to fill in the financial aid form in a stipulated timeline. So therefore, we would request you that please feel free to apply, as there is no cost involved in applying. Only a bit of your time is involved. And also, Tejasvi, why don't you tell us that how easy it is to apply for financial aid?
Sure. So candidates can apply for financial aid as soon as they get a firm offer of admission. In our experience, we have seen that once the candidate has all the information and documents ready, then it doesn't take more than 1 to 2 days to submit the form. As the financial aid form requires the details of the family in depth, therefore, we suggest that the students also involve their parents or guardians to fill the form. I'll now take you through main sections of the financial aid form, which, as you can see on the screen, the form has four main sections, which is first is the personal and family detail section, which involves where you studied, where you live, your address, and other contact details, your family members, their occupations, etc. The second is the earning member details and the business detail section. This section asks the income details of your family members and the business details of your family, if they own a business or any consultancy. Third is the wealth and the expenses section, where this section requires you to provide all the assets and investment details that your family has done and all the fixed expenses that your family incurs in in a financial year. And the last is the comment section, which is mandatory. Here is your opportunity to explain in detail why your family requires financial aid. You may feel free to write all the details that you feel we should know. It's also useful for you to know that our assessment is completely based on what you provide. So please ensure that you provide us with an exhaustive information.
Yeah, thank you, Tejasvi, for sharing that. I think it's very useful. Also, so despite the process being so easy, what could be some of the challenges which an applicant may face when they're filling the financial aid form?
Right. So there could be a couple of challenges. In our experience, we have seen that sometimes parents are not willing to share the financial aid information as it is a sensitive data. So we'd like to assure that the information and the documents shared with the financial aid office is confidential and stored in a secured way in the Ashoka portal. Nobody has the access to information apart from the financial aid office at Ashoka University. Even other departments at Ashoka don't have the access to these details. Another challenge faced by some of the students is at the time of filling the financial aid form. In case they have some queries, they write to us after the deadline is over, and then we are not able to open the form for them. So we encourage the students to reach out to us within the deadline, and we ensure that we assist you in the best possible manner.
Absolutely. I would like to really second that and mention that in case you're facing any challenges when you are applying for financial aid, please feel free to reach out to us, and we are there to guide you and help you in the best possible manner. Okay, so thank you for all this guidance so far, Tejasvi. What are some of the important aspects which an applicant should keep in mind to ensure that they fill the financial aid form responsibly?
Right, absolutely. So the first one and the most important one is to click on the submit button and check the acknowledgement mail, because the form which are submitted are the forms only accepted. Second one, you will now see on the screen there are two email addresses. First is admissions@ashoka.edu.in and the second one is financialaid@ashoka.edu.in. We would encourage all the applicants to add these two email addresses to their mailboxes so that you do not miss any important communications or updates from our side. And I'd like to reiterate that while filling the form, we suggest you to involve your parents, as sometimes it is seen that the students may not be exactly aware of the financial details of the family. Example, if we ask for monthly salary as well as for annual income at two separate places. So any confusion in this or any data wrongly entered here may have a huge impact on the potential of aid being offered. So we'd request you to please be careful with the financial figures that you punch in.
Absolutely, very well said again. That it's very important that you involve your parents or your guardians when you're filling the financial aid form, because few financial terms could be new for you and it might be difficult for you to understand what exactly we are referring to in the form. So it's best that you take your guidance from your parents or from your guardians. Okay, now I have a slightly controversial question for you. What if you discover that a student has been deliberately putting, wrong information in the form to mislead the office?
So that's a very good question. Every form which we receive is subject to verification, either through email or through phone call. So if during our conversation, if it is found that the family has any investment or savings whose details have not been shared in the financial aid application form, then the candidate's financial aid application is subject to disqualification.
That's right. Okay. So lastly, how can we apply for financial aid, or what are the timelines when we can apply for financial aid?
Great. So it starts when you receive a firm offer of admission. When you receive a mail for the firm offer of admission, it would also say that the financial aid form is now open. And on your student portal, you would find a link for the financial aid form. The forms will open on 24th January 2024, and the deadline will only be for 5 days. So this is the deadline you must adhere to, since we'll not be able to extend it under any circumstances. I also want to add that during our process of filling the financial aid form, you may have a lot of questions and about how to fill the form, or very specific queries to your situation, or how the income disclosures happen in your country. And we also understand that some of you may not be fully understand how to upload the documents. In such situations, we strongly urge you to reach out to us on the email ID which is being shown on the screen right now, which is financialaid@ashoka.edu.in. You must contact us before the deadline and not wait for the deadline to get over. We will ensure that we'll answer all your queries and assist you in the completing the form in case you face any difficulties. So this, and that's all. I'd like, so this was the complete financial aid process. I'd like Brinda to please help us with the Q&A session.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I think you guys have covered almost everything, but we'll still go back to the audience questions because I mean, we are being bombarded with those. So, guys, I think without further ado, let's get started. My first question, to be very honest, is something which is there as an FAQ as well. Does Ashoka offer a merit scholarship? And anyone else you can take.
Yeah. So yes, Ashoka University does offer a sciences merit cum means scholarship, and it is applicable to all the students who are interested in studying sciences courses, which mainly includes physics, chemistry, biology, maths, and computer science. And we have a criteria which is mentioned on the website. So if you fulfill the criteria, you can receive anywhere between 100% waiver on your tuition fee to a waiver of 100% on your tuition fee and residence cost. So we would encourage you to visit the website and to look through the process which is involved and the eligibility criteria. We will also be sharing the link with you in the chat box. So you can also refer to the link through the chat box.
Perfect. Okay. So, Jati, there is one question which is actually not finished, but I would like to take it. So, this is actually related to the 12th board marks. You both can take a sip of water and just relax for a minute. Because this is, I think, something that people might get confused with. So, there was a question where somebody said that I've been asked my 12th marks, but I'm appearing for 12th boards now. How can I apply early? My dear students, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Ashoka actually accepts your applications with predicted scores. We are not looking at your final board marks. We're in fact telling you that you'll be able to get a confirmed offer of admission and a financial aid decision if everything goes well in our application process, even before you sit for your board exams. So we take your predicted scores for the IB students and for the Cambridge students. It has to come from the counselors. As for your CBSE and ISC students, you can self-predict as well. You don't really have to rely on your schools for it. So yes, applying early does not mean that you have to wait for your board exams and your board marks till late. No, you don't have to. We accept predicted scores, and that's it. All right. So with that, I think let's go to the next question. Right. So this, I think, is a follow-up to the previous question, which basically says that how is the merit merit-based financial aid process different from need-based financial aid process?
Okay. So for a need-based financial aid process, it's basically looking at the financial standing of your family. And for that, you need to fill in the financial aid form, which you can only fill when you get a firm offer of admission. While when we look at the merit-based scholarship, it is dependent on the merit criteria and also a means criteria that there is a certain limit of a family income who qualify for this. So once you get an admission, then we look through your scores and we shortlist the students, and there is a separate process for that. So if you are interested in applying for financial aid and are also hoping for merit scholarship, we would suggest you that you should apply for financial aid definitely, because merit scholarship is a subsequent scholarship which you may get or may not get, because there is a merit criteria involved there. And it's a process wherein we look at your class 12 scores, your family's income, then there's an SOP to be followed. And lastly, there is also an interview which is scheduled with the faculty, depending on your preferred major. So hence, that is a long process and ultimate decision depends with the faculty. But however, financial aid is totally dependent on the need of a family and the financial standing of a family. So we would highly encourage you to apply for that for sure.
Excellent. So, Jyoti, I just want to ask one question right after that. Can one apply for both, or can we only apply for one?
So actually, you only have an option to apply for one, which is financial aid. For the second process, as we mentioned, that we will shortlist you basis our criteria. And once you are shortlisted, then of course you can apply for that also. But financial aid is something which you have a choice to apply for.
Of course. All right. Great. So, one question that I think sort of stood out for me also: can foreign students also get financial aid, or is it only for the domestic Indian students?
Yeah,
So I'm going to answer. Yeah.
I
Yes.
take that. So, anyone who's applying for the UG program can apply for the need-based financial aid. Uh, we just need a complete information from the candidates side regarding the all the sections that we discussed right now in the webinar, which are the mandatory sections. For example, the education details, the income details, and the business details which are available in the family, and it's exactly the similar process for all the foreign candidates.
Perfect. All right. So guys, there is one question which I actually get a lot of times whenever I meet parents and students. And I think it'll be great if we can answer this here itself so that I can just refer them to this particular webinar later. But it basically says that, is there any median income level which deems a student eligible for financial aid? Are we looking at a particular income level for it?
Okay. So essentially, there is no particular income level because every student and every student's application is looked at individually, and each student and each family may have different, personal experiences and different family backgrounds. So therefore, there is no particular income cutoff. And also, our decisions are not only based on your income. When you look through the financial aid form, we ask for a whole lot of details, which also includes your family's background, then the expenses which your family have, and then there's also one comment section where you can explain if there is something which you want to mention to us apart from all the other details which have been there, something which is unique to your family, some medical expense you feel you want to share with us, or some unique context you want to share. So therefore, there is no median income or there is no cutoff income as such. So please feel free to apply. You should not hold yourself back thinking that we may not qualify, because that is not the criteria. Our criteria is dependent on various factors.
Exactly.
So please apply. Yeah.
Excellent. So can I add something here, Jyoti, if you don't mind?
Yeah.
So, guys, so this is something that I generally tell parents or students who generally ask for financial aid, and I tell them that it has nothing to do with a higher or a lower income level. It has everything to do with your financial context. And that financial context is unique to you. So we can't compare you to the person next, just like the application process at Ashoka. It's a very unique application process. Where we're looking at the holistic self, where we're looking at everybody and their unique qualities. And just like that, the financial aid is also unique to you. we cannot compare you to the next person. So, of course, Ashoka has no median salary that we look at for you to be eligible for a financial aid. Okay, great. I have this on record now. Great. Now, going on to the next question. Right. Okay, so there is somebody who is actually asking two questions, which I think you guys and me, both of us will have to answer together. So there is somebody who's completed their 12th, in fact, in 2015, but could not complete his education because of some financial constraints. So first of all, I can answer this question. Yes, you can apply to Ashoka. It does not matter if you were not able to complete your education then. You can just use your certificates from then and let us know what have you done from 2015 till now. And if we see fit, we will take your application in. And as for the financial aid, Jyoti, I think you will have to tell us if he's still eligible for financial aid.
Yes, of course, you will be eligible for financial aid. As Tejasvi rightly mentioned, that if you have received a formal offer of admission, then you are absolutely free to apply for financial aid. Then there's nothing holding you back. So, yes.
Excellent. Okay, now two or more technical questions. So SATs are there in the application at Ashoka. Although they're optional, they are not mandatory. If you've given them, great. But we openly say that don't give them specifically for Ashoka. You are anyways going to be sitting for the Ashoka aptitude assessment, on the basis of which you can get a confirmed offer of admission even before you sit for your board exams. Is there a scholarship that is connected to the SAT though, that a child can apply for?
Yes, there is a scholarship connected to SAT, but in this scholarship, there are again 2-3 criteria which you need to fulfill. One is, of course, the SAT score should be above 1300. Then you need to be an Indian resident. And thirdly, that your family income should be less than 8 lakhs per annum. So yeah, if you qualify these 3 criteria, again, we shortlist you for this scholarship. It's not that a student can apply. So this all process starts once you receive a formal offer of admission.
Perfect. Okay. Very quickly, 1 second. So I just read minimum of the phone. Okay, so there is a specific question, but I think a lot of parents who have a business family, they tend to ask this particular question, that we have started a business and our income is minimal at this point. So do you think we should apply for a financial aid, because we have nothing to show for right now in terms of documents?
Right, I'd like to take that, Vrinda.
Please.
So, yes, we'll be needing a lot more than the documents, and we'll start with the personal ideas that are available for the if the company is a partnership firm or a sole proprietorship. We'll be taking the personal ideas, the bank account statements, and for the business, since the business is very new, we'll request the GST returns, which are, if there are quarterly GST returns filed, and Form 26AS, which will be available, and profit and loss statement. And if and all the since the ideas are not available, the bank account statement will suffice for now for this purpose.
Perfect. So I think that answers a lot of questions, in fact, together. Good. Okay. So, right. So I'm sorry, guys. So there is a follow-up question on the predicted scores. Just give me 1 second. Let me answer this particular question. So, guys, self-prediction, there is a student from ISC who's asking that should we base our self-predicted scores on our pre-board marks, because I would want to wait for my final predicted to come from school and then only give them to you, and they're not very great right now. So let me tell you this. Number one, you are already sitting for the Ashoka aptitude assessment, which also gives us a base for your academic rigor. Number one. Secondly, for your predicted scores, you don't have to base them on your midterm scores. What you can do is you can just take a range in your head based on the preparation that you had and your understanding of your subject. So for example, if it's English, go in for 85 to 90. Take that range, give us a central point so that you're not over predicting or under predicting. And you don't really have to necessarily wait for your school to give you the predicted scores after maybe your first pre-board. It's not required. It's not necessary for Ashoka, at least. Okay. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, I'm just scrolling through the ones. Okay. So this is a specific question for the science scholarship, guys. Are science scholarships only evaluated through academic scores, or is it possible to show some achievements through our extracurriculars, such as sports or any other achievements beyond academics?
Well, for sciences merit scholarship, only science related, extracurriculars also add up, but the main criteria is, of course, your scores. So if you meet the score criteria, then of course there is a follow-up form which you have to fill in. And over there you can mention about your extracurriculars, and that definitely adds up to your profile. But any sports related scholarship will not help you. It's mainly and purely related to sciences.
Yes, it's a merit cum means scholarship, but the merit here, in fact, is the science academics. So, okay, so that is one thing. Now, all right. So when it comes to the IB students, what is the specific merit scholarship for a student A levels and IB? Okay, so I think somebody is specifically asking for Cambridge and International Baccalaureate. What they're trying to ask is, what are the specific requirements for the merit scholarship for a student in A levels and IB?
Okay, so if you are appearing for the IB board, then your score needs to be 41 out of 42. And if you are from a Cambridge score board, then your score needs to be A star, and A. That's the first and basic criteria.
Perfect. Good to go. I think that was very, very straightforward, and I think that makes a lot of sense. Okay. All right. So, again, there is a question which I think I will take, which says, does it have a different effect if the predicted scores come officially from the school, or whether they have been given by us personally? Is the weightage different or considered different? No, they're not. I mean, if that was the case, then we wouldn't have given this particular thing of a self-predicted score. It's completely fine if you give us a self-predicted score. You don't really have to wait for the school to give us that. All right. So, Jati, again, for the merit part, I think there is somebody who's saying that do science-based research activities qualify for the science scholarship as well? Because that can also be considered in academics.
So see, your first criteria, as I've mentioned, will be your scores, and of course the income, your family income, that it should be less than 40 lakhs. These are the two main qualifying aspects for us to shortlist you. And once you are shortlisted, then you have an option where you have to fill in the Google form, which will ask about, why do you want to study this particular major at Ashoka? And over there, then you can mention what is the reason, and all your ECAs, extracurricular achievements, you can mention there. So that I would definitely say that it adds up to the profile of the applicant, because ultimately it's the professor who will be evaluating you, and they would really want to see that if you want to study a particular subject at Ashoka, how much you have been interested in that subject from, say, your school level, or if you have done any extracurriculars around that, that essentially adds up to your profile, and it's a very good thing to have.
Right. And just one follow-up question on that, on the interview part of the merit cum means scholarship. So there is somebody who's asking that will the questions be based on our intended majors in the merit cum means scholarship interview that we give, or will it be a vast science-based thing that they're going to be asking?
Oh, so it will be specific to the intended major you want to study, because you will be interviewed by that particular faculty. Suppose if you want to major in biology, then a bio faculty will be, interviewing you, and they will also read the SOP which you have shared with us, that why do you want to study that particular major. So it will mostly be around the major you want to study. That is right.
Okay, so I am getting 2 or 3 questions out of your plate. 1 second. So there is this question which says, what is the time gap between submitting an application for financial aid and receiving an offer? If you could just do me a very small favor, can you get the timeline out once again so that we can show that to them in case somebody's missed it? Right. So while you're doing that, there are a few questions which are around any scholarship for BSc psychology program right now, any scholarship for commerce, for economics, and BSc eco, and so on and so forth. Right now, I'm so sorry, my dear audience, but we do not have any other merit cum means scholarship, but the financial aid is open for everybody. Each and every person who gets a confirmed offer of admission from whatever background you may be coming, you are open to apply for the need-based financial aid. And like we mentioned, it is completely based on your financial context. It has nothing to do with a higher or lower income. So if you think you might not be eligible for it, don't do that to yourself. Just apply. It is actually worth the shot, right? Right. And along with that, okay.
So these are the timelines for financial aid.
Perfect. Okay. So like everybody can see here, I'm sorry, Jati, I'm going to take over for like 30 seconds here. So these are the timelines, guys. The gap between, if you see the decision notification for financial aid is 16th of February. And right now the board schedule isn't out, but most probably it should be after this. So you can actually get your notification for financial aid way before you sit for your board exams. So your entire work for financial aid documentation will also be done by 29th of January, which is way before you even sit for your board exams. So applying early sort of does this for you. It gets an entire application process out of your mind and just helps you concentrate more on your boards later, because then at least you will not have one application hanging on your head at all times, that there is an application that I still have to fill out and I still have my board exams. So that stress factor sort of goes out. Your deadline, I mean, by 24th of January, we'll give you a decision. If it's a confirmed offer of admission, 29th of January, you'll be done with your financial aid documentation. And then after that, we have to give you a result. The ball is in our court. It's not in yours anymore. Until unless there is some discrepancy and they have a question for you. Other than that, nothing. You're done. Right? Okay. Right. So 1 second. Okay. So Tejasvi, you have already answered a question of in case somebody doesn't have particular documents. Now I have a similar question. You can just say if the answer is the same and we will just stop it there. But if in case something else has to be added, you can let us know. So this boy and his mother, they started a business, and they never started working as such. So they've registered it, but they haven't started working it. So there are no transactions, no accounts, and no GST. There's nothing on that business, but there is a business as such. So they have to declare it. However, there are no documents involved. So does that also affect their overall application, or how does it function for them?
So no, in this case, since the business has not started, we urge the family to upload a document. So the registered firm documents, for example, if it's a partnership firm, the partnership deed, along with that, a document declaring that this is the situation. We started the business, and here we are right now. And you can attach that statement along with the business documents, and whatever documents are available, for example, the bank account statement, that is surely available. You can upload that for the period of 12 months. So a self-declared document can be added, and that would suffice.
Perfect. Okay. So guys, the next question is, are gap year students also eligible for a financial aid?
Yes. Gap year students can apply. If they get a firm offer of admission, then for sure they are eligible for the financial aid.
Perfect. Okay. So now very quickly, so there are a few technical questions. So somebody saying, will the acknowledgement email for our application have a link which will direct us to the financial aid form? I think Jyoti, you've already talked about this, but in case somebody's joined in later, you can just tell them how will they reach the financial aid form once, and I think we'll cover a lot of questions with that.
Okay, yes. So once you receive a form offer of admission, you will be getting a mail from the admissions team from the email ID we have showed to you that you have received a form offer, and these are your login details for a new Ashoka portal. When you go to that portal, over there you will see the link to the financial aid form. So you go to the financial aid form, it will ask you if you want to apply. It's a yes or a no. You select yes, you will get an automatic mail triggered on your personal email ID or the registered email ID that you have opted yes to apply. Then there is an honor pledge. If you reject it, again, you will not be able to apply. If you accept it, then it will take you through the main form. And then there are general instructions followed by what Tejasvi mentioned, personal details, contact details, then earning member details, business details, and all of that. And once you have completed the form entirely, you come to the end of the form. There is a declaration where you just need to tick mark that all the information shared with you is correct and you would not like to change anything further later on. You can then submit the form. And after you submit the form, then there is a follow-up acknowledgement mail which you receive, which says that your form has been successfully submitted. So do ensure that you receive that email to be sure that your form has been submitted.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So there are two questions which are sort of interlinked now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read both, and then you guys can just divide it amongst yourself maybe, and then answer that together.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is a question which says, are we supposed to mention in the comments what percentage of waiver will most suit us, or is it the discretion of the university? And also, if the committee decides that you are not eligible for a financial aid, will it affect our overall admission as well?
So I'll take both. So the
Perfect.
first is so you may explain that you want a certain percentage of aid. However, the university reserves the right as well as the holistic assessment that the financial aid team and the committee are going to do for a particular candidature will determine the amount of financial aid that will be given to the applicant, right? But we'll do consider the fact that you've mentioned something related to your the need for the financial aid. We'll do consider that. Secondly, uh, sorry, what was the second question?
Right. So the second question basically says that if the committee decides that I'm not eligible for financial aid, does that affect my overall admission as well?
No. So you've been given a firm offer of admission, so that doesn't affect anything related to the admission. Your seat is confirmed. However, the financial aid, the application for financial aid has been denied now. So no financial aid, but the firm offer of admission stays.
Excellent. Okay, so now there is a very interesting question, which I think both of you will enjoy. But it actually says that if one gets selected in, say, round one, and I miss the financial aid deadline because of uh, any reasons, here it says because of exams, or I have something else at that point of time, or I just miss it, then can I apply in round two or further rounds in the financial aid?
So we generally complete the financial aid process round wise. So if the admission has been offered in the round one, we generally do not consider any such requests. So we request you to please be aware of the deadlines. Please be ready with the documents that we have talked about in the webinar, so that you do not miss the deadline. That is our sole request to you, that please do not miss any deadline, any email from our side.
So true.
Yes, and just to add to that, also, the financial aid form mainly needs to be filled in by your parents or guardians. So even if you are busy or occupied with your exams or there is anything else, but ensure that your parents have access to your login ID and password, and they can access the form and they can fill in the details.
Excellent.
So yes,
In fact,
can
I'm
be
just going
done.
to reiterate what both of them have said, and let's just culminate that, guys. First of all, just like the Ashoka application, once you've submitted the application, you will have to sit for the aptitude assessment in that very round. You don't have to worry about that. Once you have an offer in that round, if it's a confirmed offer of admission, you will have to apply for the financial aid in that very round, right? It does not get moved to the next rounds. We complete the process for every student in that particular round that they've submitted in. Also, there was a question in the Q&A box right now, which says, if I get rejected in the first round, can I apply again? No, you can't. But with that said, also, I would still say, you know what, apply early, because your profile is not going to change in the second or the third or the fourth round. It's going to stay the same. So just get one application out and then focus on the others that come after that, right? Okay, now very quickly, guys. So there is this okay, so there is this one question which says right, if one gets accepted at Ashoka, how much fee has to go immediately to secure a seat? And is this amount non-refundable if you cannot finally join?
Okay, so if you receive a form offer of admission and you want to pay the fees to block your seat, then approximately for the first acceptance bit, you will be required to pay somewhere between 3.5 to 4 lakhs. This will be a combination of your admission fees, of the security deposit, of, I think, almost 50% of your tuition fee for one particular semester. And there'll be one amount which is 10,000 rupees, which will be a non-refundable admission fees. So if you wish to withdraw your, application later, then almost the entire amount will be refundable, but only this 10,000 rupees, which is a non-refundable part, that will not be refunded.
Yes.
So yeah.
Right. And this is specifically for students who do not want to apply for financial aid and just pay the first side of the fee. Otherwise,
Right.
the option opens for you for financial aid as well at the same time. Okay. So, guys, we've been constantly using the term firm offer again and again. I think we didn't realize that there are a few people in the audience who do not understand the meaning of a firm offer. Any one of you wants to take it, or do you want me to take it?
You can take it.
Perfect. Okay. So, guys, by firm offer or by confirmed offer of admission, what we mean is that your only eligibility after that is to clear your board exams, and at that point of time, you have cleared everything. That means, in terms of your academics, your co-curriculars, your overall profile, your interview, and your aptitude assessment, everything is good to go, and we are able to give you a confirmed offer of admission, wherein your only criteria at that point of time is to pass your board exams and be a 12th pass for us to take you into Ashoka. Yes, in case you don't clear your board exams or if there is a back, we will be taking back your offer even if it's a firm offer of admission. Let's be very clear about that. But yes, this is what the terminology means. A confirmed offer or a firm offer of admission is when you have already been given an offer to join Ashoka without anything else. So yeah. All right. So very quickly, is capital income counted as source of income because it varies every year?
Yes, that will be a component of income only. Even if it varies, but it is added to the main income.
Perfect. Okay, so this is basically a UG webinar, but what I'll do is I will take one transfer question here as well. So it says that are transfer students also eligible for a financial aid?
Yes, transfer students are also eligible for financial aid, and any student receiving an offer from the university is eligible to apply for financial aid.
Right, exactly. So, right. So I believe there are a lot of businessmen in this audience today because they're asking follow-up questions for all your answers for that, guys. Add on to just the business questions, our income is mostly divided in profits booked on our, okay, I think you guys will understand this more than me. Booked on our equity investments. As you know, it may vary from year to year. In this case, we shall still apply for the scholarship or the financial aid. We have ITRs to show the taxes we pay for the capital gains.
Right. So while filling the financial aid form, you can apply. You can completely mention your individual incomes in the particular sections, which are the regular source of income and the income coming from the capital sources, the equity basically, and you may upload the income computation sheet along with your ideas so as to better understand what part of income is coming from which source.
Right. Okay. Okay, so guys, I think we are mostly done with the financial aid questions. Just let's give our audiences another 2 minutes. In the meantime, I'll answer a few application related questions if that's okay with the both of you. Let's just give them 2 more minutes. And in case anybody has any more questions, guys, please put them, my dear audience, please put them in the chat box, or sorry, in the Q&A box, and we'll take it. In the meantime, there is one question which says, can Cambridge students also give self-predicted scores? No, they can't. Cambridge students will have to give us the details of the school counselor or the guidance counselor, and they will send us the predicted scores from school. Will admissions get cancelled if your predicted score does not match your board results? See, 5% plus minus is something that we understand, but yes, if you have a conditional offer where we've asked you to, or a deferred offer where we've asked you for your predicted scores, then it could. But generally, even if it's a self-predicted score, it is not off. It is not that much off. So you can rely on your self-predicted scores. It's perfectly fine. All right. So There was one more question which I think I've sort of missed. All right, I'm just checking if in case we've not missed anything during the process. All right, so guys, there is a question which says that during the process, do you ask for any more documents if you require other than the ones listed on the website
So
in terms of financial data?
generally, we've tried to cover all the documents which are mentioned on the website. We've also uploaded one sample application form on our website. So we request all the applicants and the parents to please visit our website, the financial aid page, and please do see the sample form which is available. That will ensure that these are the documents which are required. Also, there may be instances where we feel that we need some clarity on some particular investment or transaction. So we may request that the applicant can share the document related to that investment, or some extra bank account statements if they have. So for example, if a family has multiple bank account statements, so and if they have not uploaded, and we feel that we need that extra bank account statement details, we'll request the applicants as additional information.
Got it. All right, so yes, somebody did ask us a question very last minute. And I think this is a very concerned question. So this person says, I have a younger sibling, just a year younger, who will also be going to college a year after I do. Hence, this would lead to an increase in spending for my family. How do I show this in the process for financial aid?
Okay, so when you're filling the financial aid form, we do ask you about your siblings' details. So you should clearly mention what is your sibling doing currently, if he's in class 12th with school, and also the comments section. As we mentioned, that it's a mandatory section and it's a very important section. And that is the section where you can give us context and you can mention all these details, that you have a younger sibling who will also be going to college next year, and there will be fees associated to that as well. So comment section is the ideal place for you to mention any unique context, anything additional you want to share with us, which you feel has not been mentioned in the above sections of the form.
All right. Okay, guys, if you people don't mind, can you take like a minute? So there are 2 or 3 people who are asking about the documents that are required for financial aid.
Mhm.
Again, can you just mention a few key documents that you will require for sure? And these are very general in nature. Of course, if they have a business, if they have something else, there'll be specific documents that they will see once they open the form. But any general documents that they can keep handy even before they fill up the application and submit it to us on the 22nd of November.
Right. So, starting from a basic application, if a person comes from a salaried background, that, which means that both the parents are employed, or either of them is employed, so we'd request them to upload the ITRs uh, along with the salary slips, along with the bank account statements, and if there are any loans taken by them, for example, any vehicle loans, any property loans, then they can attach those documents in the respective sections. Uh, Also, if there are any other documents which you feel that will be considered a plus in with your application, you may also upload that and mention about that document in the comment section. However, if the family is a business family or a self-employed family, which means that the parents, either of them is a business owner or a self-employed professional, for example, a consultant, a technical consultant, a doctor, etc., then in that case, we do request the students to please uh, tick yes to the self-employed or the business details, and then upload the other additional documents that are available, which are documents related to the business, that are Form 26AS of the business, bank account statement of the business, the partnership deed, the GST returns. Um, these all are the only documents that are required, and that will help in better understanding of the candidature, and hence the holistic assessment of a financial standing of a particular applicant.
Perfect. All right. So Thanks, Jyoti. Thanks, Tejasvi. I think we've covered all financial aid questions. Even after waiting for like 5 minutes, we've covered everything. There is just one lingering question which is coming again and again for an application from an application point of view, which I think I will take. Just give me 1 second, and I will need your final words before you both part. So don't go anywhere right now. Right. So there is this question which says, can I apply for a second time if my scores are not good? And also, what if I get a deferred offer, or what if I get a conditional offer? What happens then? So, very quickly, first of all, if you have a deferred or a conditional offer, I've already said that we will be asking you to match your predicted scores, number one. Secondly, but then you have to understand that that's the only thing that is left for you to do. The entire application is good to go. You've completed everything. All documentation from your end is done. You don't have to worry about anything. You just have to furnish your board results to us once they're out. So applying early will not become a problem or a hindrance in any sort of way for you in that case also. Also, like I said, you can't apply for a second time. You will only be allowed to apply once in the entire cycle. Other than that, good job, guys. We've completed every question that has come our way today. So thank you so much, both of you, for being here. But before you go, are there any last words that you would want to give the students, I mean, before they apply for Ashoka or for their financial aid for that matter? Any one of you can start.
Okay, yeah. So I would like to mention that, our financial aid process is a need-based process. So please do not self-eliminate yourself thinking that I may not qualify for it. Please do apply if you really feel that, you need some support in terms of finances. Also, as we have mentioned in our webinar, I would like to reiterate a few things that please ensure that you stick to the deadline. You have our email IDs, so please feel free to write to us as many times as you want, just to ensure that you fill your form responsibly and completely. Because the more information you share with us and the relevant information you share with us, then only we will be able to help you out with your application and make a more informed decision about your financial aid. Also, do include your parents or guardians in this process, because it involves a lot of financial data and financial numbers, which I think your parents will be at a better place to understand and to guide and mention that, which amount should go where and what exactly, and how to make sense of the entire form. So do include your parents or your guardians in this process. Over to you, Tejasvi.
So I'd like to request that we are always available. If you have any queries, any questions, you can please drop in your emails on the financialaid@ashoka.edu.in email address, and we'll be able to help you in a timely manner. And we wish you all the best and we request you to please do apply, and we hope that we soon talk to you regarding the financial aid process. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, so thank you so much, both of you, for joining us today. And thank you to our entire audience. And thank you for joining us for today's session. We hope that this webinar was helpful in understanding Ashoka's commitment towards making education affordable and accessible for all. We would really appreciate if you could please take a minute to share your valuable feedback with us. The link to the feedback form is provided in the chat box. Please note that the recording of this session will be available on Ashoka's YouTube channel in case you would like to share it with your friends. Our next webinar is scheduled for Friday, 3rd November from 6 to 7 p.m. The webinar will be conducted by Ashoka University's science faculty and will shed light on the various science programs at Ashoka. The registration link for the same is in the chat box. Next week, we'll also have open houses on the undergraduate program across cities on 4th and 5th of November. The registration link for the same is in the chat box. Before we end the session, I would once again like to inform our audiences that application for round 1 of the undergraduate program starting next year, which is August of 2024, are now open. The deadline for round 1 is 22nd of November 2023. I would encourage students to start early and have access to personalized mentorship from our academic counselors and get a confirmed offer of admission and financial aid even before their final board results are announced. If you have any further queries, you can also write to us at ugapply@ashoka.edu.in or contact us on the numbers given on the screen. This brings us to the end of the session. Please take care and stay safe.